This year, the mill underwent a ton of new changes to make a more modern learning environment. Some teachers have decided to embrace these new changes by spicing up their classrooms and teaching styles. Here are a few examples of how teachers are modernizing the mill.
When did you start making this change to the classroom?
Ever since I've been teaching, I've always tried to listen to students and understand kind of where they're coming from. I think part of communication is understanding the language of the person you're talking to and then communicating on their level. So if I can use that slang or enter it into my vocabulary in terms of teaching lesson, I'm more than likely to engage a student. I think it allows me to connect or bond with my students and let them know that I care.
What's your favorite hip term?
So sometimes I pick up student language. Sometimes I like to be the translator. There's a couple of things a lot of my students will know, things that I'll do. One would be wow, this interview is so good. And it takes a minute and they're like, what is that? It's so good, but with the voice inflection. On the one hand, it's me picking up student language, but on the other, gets a laugh, gets people's attention. I think too much that education is this I don't know, I'm just being told what to do, what reason I have to be here, I have no control. It's not fun. I think the best education is fun.
And it definitely keeps people engaged too.
Exactly.
That's a great technique. Why did you decide to make the changes for technology in the library?
The main reason is because the current trends in media is to lend itself to new technology. And one of the big pushes of all schools in Georgia, well, throughout the whole United States really, is to develop kids' media literacy, to promote instructional technology, and get them to use these new technologies. And it's not just here at Starks, it's countrywide. It's the emphasis on understanding how to use technology in a better way. And it's an extension of a media program. It's not a substitute for a media program, it's an extension of it. We still have books and print media, we're just adding a new dimension to the media program.
How do you think this will affect the students?
Well, hopefully it affects them in a positive way because it gives them more opportunities to do those creative things they want to do. Hey, Mr. Wright, I'd like to be able to do some music creation, or hey, Mr. Wright, I'd love to do some robotics, or hey, Mr. Wright, I want to do something with augmented reality. These are opportunities kids can do and are learning that in other classes. Why can't they do it here? So I just give them opportunities to do new kinds of learning. My favorite change is moving kids' awareness to understand media in its all aspects. It's understanding how to use media to learn more, understand and communicate better with each other. Because that's in essence what we're talking about. We're talking about how to communicate and connect with people in a different way, whether it's through whatever technology we're talking. It's about communicating, bringing people together. And I think when I see that happen, that's what I think the greatest change can be.
Do you know when these changes will be made?
Well, we've been phasing them in throughout the year because of construction issues and remodeling challenges and deadlines and things of construction. Those timelines kind of get pushed up and get moved around. But our goal is to have our glass classroom built during spring break, and as far as I know right now, we're going to meet that goal. That's going to happen.
So what is new about your room?
Well, actually, the seating and then a couple of desks too. So we have desks that can go from sitting to bar stool height to standing. We have some yoga balls and we have some seats where you can sit on the floor.
Why did you choose the design for your room?
Well, I feel like everybody has different ways that they like to sort of study, take a test, do group work, and these seats allow us to move around and do what we need to do for different projects, different types of learning. So they can move, they can switch, and they can pick what they need for whatever we're doing on that day.
Where did you get the inspiration for your new design?
Well, from some of my students that I knew were wigglers to begin with. I knew they would benefit from, for instance, being able to bounce on the yoga ball. But also, my own children had teachers that had flexible seating in their elementary classrooms, and it felt like high schoolers could benefit from the same thing. I think that many of them are more engaged because they're able to move around instead of sitting completely still for 6 straight hours. It allows them to kind of share what we're doing in class with each other. So they're more engaged with each other and not just me all the time.
So what do you think about Dr. Stanford's room?
I really love it. I love the bouncy balls and the rolling chair and the big high desks. They make me more inclined to learn. It just makes the class a lot more enjoyable.